This is me. This is Allie. We're married. But our pop culture references go over each other's heads. So this is the show where we bridge our cultural gap. This is Allie Hasn't. Welcome back!
Hello!
To Allie Hasn't.
I'm Allie.
And I'm Doug. This is going to be a little different, and I don't exactly know how at the moment. I will figure it out mostly in the editing room, so we're going to try a few different things. Because the Monster Squad episode unfortunately got... So because our last episode, the Monster Squad, has been flagged and is most likely going to get taken down, and that was Paramount. Our next film is also Paramount, or today's episode is Paramount. We're going to try a few different things to try and avoid that from happening.
So what are we doing today, Dougie?
Today we are going to watch Star Trek First Contact. Now I have the box set with all the TNG movies. So on Blu-ray, it's a nice release. Earlier, like actually years ago now, we watched Star Trek The Next Generation.
We did.
For Allie Hasn't. And since then, you have watched the entire series.
Yes, we finished the entire series.
What did you think of TNG?
That was, okay, it was slow to get into.
You mean like season 1 and 2?
And how devastated I was with the first episode that you showed me. I already knew that Tasha was going to die. Being able to watch her actual character and knowing that there had been so much potential, and it makes me very upset. There are a few episodes that have like impacted me greatly. That episode of Lower Decks. The alien species that
Bajorn.
Yeah, okay. When she died, I genuinely did not think that she's gonna die, and I was going through the internet going, is she actually dead? Are they gonna bring her back? But they had ambiguously left it that way. So if they wanted to bring her back, that they could have, but they never. But ultimately, yeah, she is dead. Oh, that broke my heart. When you try to characterize Picard, you do think of like an intellectual, a diplomat, but on his off time, he's like a fighty person. Well, at least in his youth, he got stabbed. I have learned that Riker's a whore, and I love that for him.
Yeah, you know, travels the galaxy, gets with women.
Just bang. I'm surprised there was no episode about an STI scare.
But in the future, they got them all covered.
Oh, okay, fair enough. I was totally fine with the intent of Wesley's ending being a little bit more on the ambiguous side after the whole debacle.
Oh, where...
And then they brought him back and he became God. I was like, why? Why would you do this?
Oh, there's certain things I retcon in my head and say, well, that episode didn't happen. And
Yeah.
that's one of the episodes
no, I'm just like, no. I like the idea where it's just like, he's now put in a position where he has to prove himself. It doesn't matter how much time he's spent on the Enterprise. His career has been tainted with his decision to not tell the truth, and I loved that. It kind of evened out his Mary Sue-ness.
The final episode with Wesley is I honestly think it's atrocious. I
was so mad.
And his character in that episode is atrocious. Any maturity that he has gained over the years is gone. He's a mopey little kid, and he just happens to be rewarded with like powers to freeze time and crap like that. It's like, please, like don't do this.
It was so lame.
Yes. So. Yeah, I hear you there. I thought they chose the wrong episode to end his story.
Yeah.
Because I think the other episode was much stronger.
Oh yeah, like that would provide an opportunity for people to speculate, like what kind of officer would he have become just.
And then it opens up opportunities for future series to incorporate him into it. But
see, that would have been so cool.
But,
I love Worf. And I found it hysterical that him and Deanna got together.
Right at the end there.
Yeah. It was so cute. But I also found out that they don't last. Or I guess they wind up breaking up. I don't know what happened, but they're not together in the long run. Were they still together by the movie?
I guess this isn't a spoiler because it's not revealing anything other than the fact that I feel like that particular plot line was never resolved. It wasn't in Generations. There was no mention of it. I guess there's a little mention of it at one point in a later movie, but no, I feel like that particular story isn't resolved.
That's so weird.
Well, it's just because they didn't really explore it until like the series was over. So,
all right. And we watched the first movie.
Yes,
And
Generations.
I had a lot of commentary about that.
Yeah, we were kind of going like, should we have like filmed this one and used it for the show? But once you've seen it, and so there's no point reacting.
One of the things I wanted to mention is that the explosions or crashes that happen on the ship in the show are very different compared to the ones in the movie when you actually have a budget.
Yeah, it was nice to see some of that money on screen for sure. And I mean, the show was a high budget show at the time too, but but it doesn't compare to a movie budget.
Oh yeah. When the ship finally crashes, it was beautiful.
Yeah.
It's like, it warrants people rolling around the screen everywhere.
Yes. So lots of things have changed since we watched Star Trek: The Next Generation. The series has gone.
What do you mean they've changed? Like personally?
Like like in the context. So a lot has changed in the context of the show. So yes, the Enterprise D has now been destroyed. Spoiler alert for anyone who's a little late getting on the TNG train.
I was.
Yeah, but so there you go.
Captain Kirk's dead. Big one. Data has emotions.
Data has emotions.
You got to swear.
A little more context. This is the bare bones of context for going into First Contact. Things are different in the universe of Star Trek right now, and that there's been a big turning point. We had planned to watch Deep Space Nine, but Deep Space Nine is playing at the end of TNG through this whole time.
Gotcha.
Into Star Trek First Contact, and since then, peacetime has gone into wartime.
Oh, that's a big change. Wait, between who?
Well, the thing you don't really know who the opposing side is.
I only saw the pilot for Deep Space Nine. We haven't watched anything further since. Starfleet
is a little bit different in this point in time, and the events of this film are just kind of no, they're not connected to the war. That's just a little bit of background context. But just think of it as just kicking them while they're down. We'll say that.
Okay. I have so much to say, but we should watch the movie.
We should actually get into First Contact proper.
Okay.
Let us begin. Woo! Well, there we go. Star Trek First Contact.
The Borg have taken a tactical advantage in a time of war to attack Earth.
Yeah.
Oh, he's going straight for Earth!
Oh, yeah. That's a ship from DS9, by the way.
Main power's offline. We've lost shields.
So Worf's not on Enterprise?
Worf. Yeah, he joins the Deep Space Nine crew.
Okay.
The Enterprise.
By the way, that guy's Adam Scott.
Wait, what?
Yeah, that's baby Adam Scott right there.
Oh! Love it. Oh, so good.
Beautiful. Those are called quantum torpedoes. Another upgrade.
Dang!
Whew. The main ship was destroyed, so they're like, well, let's just go back in time and do it when it's easier. Oh yeah, Worf is there too.
Worf is there.
So if we could use some help at tactical.
Yeah, not like that guy blew up the Borg cube or anything. They go back to the point in time in which, right before warp drive is first implemented.
I must follow them back. Repair whatever damage they've done.
As far as Plan B goes, I guess I'm not bad.
Why that time and why not even before that when it's easier?
See, now here's one of the problems with time travel.
That's
stories.
why I hate when people use time travel. No one ever makes it make sense. Why not go to, like, the 15th century? No one would do anything.
I believe I can handle this.
He's strangely still very machine-like in the way he talks compared to the latter half.
I think he's gotten a better grip of his emotions.
How's that supposed to help? You're going all Terminator on her.
Greetings.
So Picard, Data, and Dr. Crusher are back on the ship, dealing with the Borg having started to take over the Enterprise.
39.1 degrees Celsius. Like a Borg ship. They knew their ship was doomed. Our shields were down, and somehow they transported over here without being detected.
Woo!
Sir, command control is being rerouted to remain engineering.
Uh-oh.
Weapons, shields, propulsion.
Quickly, Mr. Data, look out.
Starting with engineering is a good plan.
Where's Geordi? Look at those hands.
Riker, Geordi, Troy, they're trying to handle the situation with Zephyr and Cochrane, who is not dead, thankfully, but they got to fix his ship and get it up and ready to go to establish first contact with an alien race and usher in a new future for humanity.
But you need to reinforce this copper tubing with a nano pump.
Wait,
Dr. Cochran, I know this sounds silly, but can I shake your hand?
the other he has more hair.
Thank you.
yeah. It's just I think it's all because it's all messed up in
I
the
never
front.
imagined that I'd be meeting the
Yeah,
man who
that's
invented
Reg.
warp drive.
Reg.
I'm sorry.
Thanks.
I've come to like his character. There was some weird cyborg BDSM going on between Data and the Borg Queen.
Do you know what this is, Data?
It would appear you were attempting to graft organic skin onto my endoskeletal structure.
Was that good for you?
This is way too erotic.
Lily is Zephyr and Cochrane's friend who gets transported up to the ship to help her with some radiation poisoning, though she winds up getting separated from the sickbay crew and befriends Picard in the docks of the ship.
And she's the voice of reason. And I love her. She's an amazing character.
I saw the look on your face when you shot those Borg on the holodeck. You were almost enjoying it.
I like her.
Get out!
Or what? You'll kill me? Like you killed Ensign Lynch? Where was your evolved sensibility then?
I don't have time for this.
I love her.
I'm sorry. Captain Ahab has to go hunt his whale.
What?
You do have books in the 24th century.
This is not about revenge.
Liar! Jean-Luc, blow up the damn ship!
No! No! The line must be drawn here. This far, no farther.
Yeah.
I will make them pay for what they've done.
Boom, there it is. His revenge. Oh, the look on his face.
Allie, what'd you think of Star Trek First Contact?
Oh, that was it. Okay, aside from the really weird erotic scenes,
Yeah.
wow, I really liked it. And I really enjoyed the juxtaposition between the tense scenes in the Enterprise as well as whatever's happening on Earth.
Although the stuff on the Enterprise is way more tense and the stuff on Earth is a little more lighthearted, the stakes are still the same. Like it's still like what's going on down there is still very important in order to have the events of history play out.
What was happening on Earth felt more like an episode that would have occurred on TNG, like that would have been the main plot.
Right.
But it's not bad. Yes, there are stakes. Yes, there's some tension, but it's also very funny. There is a scene with a very drunk Deanna Troi. That's a very good scene.
That's a good one, yeah.
I loved watching Lily scream at Picard. He needed that. He really needed a kick in the butt.
It's good to have that kind of the third party.
The crew's not going to speak up against Picard.
Worf did what he could. The only person who could have possibly stood up to Picard enough to change his mind would have been Riker, who wasn't there.
Yeah.
Even then, I think it just took someone who was completely removed from the situation and the personal stakes
Oh, I love
to
her.
come in and kick his butt and say, like, look, it's over.
And I did mention this while we were watching it, but I liked the idea of her being more of a romantic interest for Picard because they don't clash, but they would challenge each other. I don't know, I really enjoyed her character.
I think the guest spots are really good, and not just Lily, but I think Zephyr and Cochrane is wonderful as well.
He's teaching the Vulcans his dancing, the music, the drinking.
But it was a nice reveal that it was the Vulcans, though.
Yes.
Because it just kind of forgive the pun, it logically makes sense given what seems like a very well established history between humans and Vulcans.
Yes.
Any other thoughts?
I hate time travel plots. They never work.
I think this one works better than some.
It's better than Generations.
Yeah, absolutely. Generations, there's gaping plot holes. You could argue your way out of this one in that they may have chosen First Contact because of its significance on a stellar level, because that's when humanity was basically boom on the universal map. And sometimes I think, okay, this is me using Beast Wars logic, because there's time travel in Beast Wars. Because the universe is always moving, it can be very difficult to pinpoint where exactly something is in space and time.
Fair enough.
And so in Beast Wars, the Predacons used the golden disc, which is the actual golden disc that was on the Voyager probe, to pinpoint where Earth will be in a particular point in time, because that is actually something that's on the real golden disc is like, here's where you can find Earth. If there's an event that is very well established, like First Contact, the Borg would probably know where to go.
Okay.
As opposed to some other just random point in time in history.
Okay.
Of course, that does poke a hole in every other time traveling plot ever. But still, but you know, that would be my rationale.
That's not bad.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's not bad at all. Okay.
But anyways, First Contact, my opinion, I love First Contact. It is probably one of my favorite movies of all time. I just get really absorbed in it, and I also remember just like seeing it in theaters way back.
When was it released?
It was in 1996. I saw
This is a 96 movie. It looks good.
It holds up well. I remember 10-year-old Douglas being in the theater, and I watched it at the Station Square Cinema.
Oh,
it
doesn't exist
anymore. It is now Bed Bath & Beyond. They're like that area, yeah. So, and I remember walking out of the theater, and one of the posters that was up was Mars Attacks.
Wait, Mars Attacks was 96? To me, that movie is, for some reason, feels older than First Contact.
Mars Attacks came out the next year, so it was a promotional poster.
I still stand by myself. Like when I think about Mars Attacks, it feels older to me than First Contact. I don't know why.
But anyways, that was just my memory coming out of it, and also just being totally excited and just like just thinking it was the coolest movie. In time, I've gotten a little more critical of some of the Borg Queen stuff. Doesn't work for me either.
No, it's really creepy.
In fact, the Star Trek fans who don't like this movie usually cite the Borg Queen as the big problem of it, because I think they prefer the idea of the hive consciousness of the Borg being more ambiguous.
Yeah. There is no hierarchy. Exactly.
Yeah.
It's just the Borg.
I think the Borg Queen stuff can work because like a lot of like hive insects and stuff do have a queen figure and stuff like that. But at the same time, like I don't hate the Borg Queen, but I do kind of prefer the more ambiguous sort of like, here's the hive mind.
I'm more critical of the fact that it was just so sexual.
It was. I also like that this, I really feel, wraps up that story of Picard and the Borg, which I feel like it didn't quite get the wrap up it needed in the series.
Yes.
The more personal stakes are finally addressed. Like it really dives deep into how much the Borg hurt him.
Yes, and that was like my main concern in the series, and I'm just like, I don't feel like they're addressing this enough. Mm-hmm. So in this movie, I was very happy about that.
Yeah, and it was also cool to see that like a villain like that return. Mm-hmm. They were used sparingly in the series, which I don't think is a bad thing. I don't feel like it got the final showdown that it needed.
In terms of the Earth plotline, I do like the idea of like don't be your heroes. They're not going to be like who you think they are, and that it did freak him out. I'm not who you think I am, but also which is taken such a humorous light, especially with Riker. He just don't try to be a great man, just be a man. Who said that? You.
I think he played it well, just being like really freaked out by the whole thing, but also like, you know, he was a strong guy. He still went up in the ship, even though he hates flying. And
I did wish that was kind of, that would have been explored a bit more. Like, this guy's clearly he's a functioning alcoholic, but it's never really addressed. The guy has a problem. He has, like, how does he change after this? That's just a character in the story that I would have loved to hear more about. He is clearly very legendary to everyone in the future. But what was he really like in real life? I think that would be a great series.
I guess it does kind of just only touch the surface of that.
Yeah, just like, okay, if he's nothing like what everyone thinks he is, then what is he actually like? Why is he an alcoholic? Why is he, like, why are all these things? I have so many questions.
Well, I would guess he's an alcoholic probably because he lived through World War III.
Fair.
And so...
And what was his role in World War III? Was he just a civilian? Did he fight? Or just, if you were doing a new Star Trek series, that would be awesome.
I also think that it's interesting that there was a bit of a horror direction that they went into. Like,
opening scene.
yeah, exactly. But also like the Borg stuff with like you see the assimilations is much more gruesome than it's ever been shown before.
Yeah.
It's very like, you know, the tight corridor is very alien. Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's kind of cool to see a sci-fi horror side because we didn't see that much in TNG apart from that Genesis episode where they're all de-evolved.
Oh yeah. That.
Only much less silly as far as the premise goes.
Two scenes that I found particularly well done was the one where you're just listening to the audio of people in contact with the Borg.
I love that scene.
But the second one is Crusher talking to the hologram thing.
Oh yeah.
And then she's just like, there are 20 Borg about to go through that door. You need to distract them. I'm just like, oh! I don't know why, but just that line where it's just like, there are 20 Borg out there and they're gonna come in here.
She has the right amount of urgency.
Yeah. It's so horrifying.
And it's particularly vulnerable because it's sickbay. It's not. This is not a place to fight.
It's said by someone who's clearly afraid and there's a lot of pressure going on, but someone who's very focused at their job.
Yeah. Well, because she's a doctor, there's some pressure, right?
Yeah. It's just, I don't know, I found that very effective and it was just very chilling to me. I'm like, ooh.
And as far as scenes that I feel like are kind of like legendary in the franchise, a scene that we both really like between Lily and Picard, where she's nailing into him and he says like the line must be drawn here, no further. That's definitely one where like everyone knows it. Everyone.
And at that moment, it's kind of like I understand his reasoning, not wanting to back down, but ultimately, it's just like you're not gonna win this.
Yeah. I feel it holds up. I love Star Trek First Contact.
So good.
Still hits home for me.
And Jonathan Frakes directed it. That's
true,
awesome.
yeah. I mean, he's still directing.
Is he really?
He's mostly directing TV these days, but I think he directed the hell out of this one, and I think he directs the next one too. So that's Star Trek First Contact. Big thumbs up from both of us. I mean, I knew it would be a thumbs up for me.
One of your favorite movies ever. Why would you give a thumbs up?
Yeah, maybe I would watch it again and go like, wait a minute, this sucks. But not the case. So, what did you think of Star Trek First Contact? Let us know in the comments down below. For next time, we're going to do a Christmas episode, Muppet Family Christmas. So it'll be quite a change in tone from this one. So,
Bye!
Bye! Having Data get it on with the Borg Queen was a very strange choice.
Is that a spider? Oh, no, it's a spider.
Where?